For the Austrian after finishing third in Australia and New Zealand. That also equals his best ever result in the WRC, a fitting way to celebrate his and co-driver Ilka Miner's 50th start together.
40, rechts frei, minus Abzweig, ziehen.
Behind Stoll and Solberg was another battle being fought between Chevy Ponce and Jari-Matti Latvala. The Finn driving a Stobart VK Ford was the man on top, holding fourth place at the end of leg one. But Ponce nibbled away at his rival on day two and took back fourth position. That wasn't the end of it though. Latvala fought back on the final day, retaking fourth, a career best for him and a best finish too for Stobart VK Ford. Ponce's teammate Danny Sordo had looked a possibility for a podium finish early on, but gearbox failure on day two ended his hopes. He eventually finished seventh, a downbeat farewell to the Zara then for Danny, who'll be driving a C4 next year when Citroën returns as a full manufacturer's team. The team hitting the headlines in Wales though was Ford, with Gronholm giving the team their first win at their home event since 1979. Having won the Manufacturers' Championship this year, Ford and Gronholm will be aiming for the double in 2007. And it was Gronholm's 25th WRC victory, the most by any Finnish driver.
Marcus first overall. That's 7 wins this season, 25th career, and first time Ford won here in 27 years.
Lot of statistics now. Yeah, it's good. It's a good feeling after all. Yeah, very good for my first year with Ford and so, and to finish 1 point behind Sebit. It's a little bit, you know. Otherwise, it would have been fantastic.
So Marcus Gronholm picks up the final 10 points of the season, Manfred Stoll second and Petter Solberg third. Sebastian Loeb is the drivers' champion for the third year running. His enforced layoff meaning the winning margin over Gronholm just 1 point. Mikko Hirvonen finishes third, while Manfred Stoll's second place saw him leapfrog Danny Sordo to finish fourth. Ford in the end comfortable winners of the Manufacturers' Championship from Kronos Citroën. Subaru finished third, OMV Peugeot fourth, Stobart VK Ford fifth and Red Bull Skoda sixth. The life of a rally co-driver can sometimes be a bumpy one. They feel the effects of every jump, every knock, and every smash. And when things go wrong, it's usually them that get the blame. To avoid mishap, the pace notes have to be perfect, and as always, preparation is everything.
My rally starts on the Sunday, when we arrive the week before, and then start planning for the recce.
Here the drivers and co-drivers get their first look at the stages and the opportunity to compose the notes. The driver dictates the severity and length of the bends and crests to the co-driver. He must make sure everything is written down correctly.
To keep leftover crest into forward minus to type 2, so adding a crest.
Out on the stages, it's his notes that will act as the eyes of the driver.
The road is so rough that when you're writing the pace notes down, some of it is almost ineligible, so you have to rewrite certain sections of it. We get back after the recce, the driver's finished, then the co-driver starts to work again and you have to reproduce the day's work. We're working until 1:32 a.m. in the morning. Nobody sees that, they just see a very tired person next morning.
Only a couple of days split the recce from the start of the rally itself, and this is where the co-drivers put all their hard work into practice.
Jatko oikein eri sisältä ahdas. Right 3 minus 200.
Even the best in the business can slip up though. Losing your place in the notes can cost a driver valuable seconds.
No. Este es el final, el antiguo final.
Whilst a wrong note called can be a real headache. But a co-driver's role goes above and beyond just calling out pace notes. The 3 days of the WRC event are governed by a strict timetable, with the cars having to check in at stage starts and service stops. It's the co-driver's responsibility to ensure that his car arrives at the correct time at these controls. Get it wrong and you've incurred a time penalty, as happened to Carlos Sainz and Marc Marti in Argentina in 2003. It was a mistake that would cost them the lead of the rally.
He was thinking that I said go ahead, and I said wait. And just when he started, I tried to follow the car, but it was too late.
Whose mistake is this? Yours, the team's, or Carlos's?
It's my mistake. It's always my mistake. But I must go into the car or catch the car or try to do the best. But
that's the nuts and bolts of the job, but there are other less quantifiable elements.
The driver has to only concentrate on driving. So the co-driver should be like a mum and grandma and a friend and a secretary for the driver and do everything. If the driver gets upset, you swallow it. You discuss it after the event. Never upset a driver, never tell him things he doesn't want to hear. You know, you just have to be, sometimes you may tell him, you know, but you have to judge the right moment to tell him.
Teamwork and partnerships are an aspect in many sports, but the relationship between rally driver and co-driver is extra special.
It is the ultimate trust, really. When you really sit down and think about it, you know, you're sort of saying flat right over crest or something flat in 6th gear.
6 left plus 120. Opens the flat middle of a jump. 80. Keep left over crest 40. Line into 6 right minus.
Just total confidence between the two of you, and it does take a while to sort of gel it all together and get that confidence.
You need to trust what he's doing, the co-driver, and reading the notes and no mistakes. Sometimes there is mistakes, but it's completely normal. If I'm sleeping, I'm doing stupid corners, putting on a paper there, so Timo is always that, hey, it's not right that. That's the work together, and it should be like it.
It's a 50-50 relationship in the car. I trust him completely and he trusts me completely, so we both rely on each other.
If you have a guy or a girl who just say yes, 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 it's not a good thing. You have to say no sometimes also and have a discussion and fight if you're going to get the respect.
No!
And with such a complex relationship in the car, some fallouts are inevitable. But for most, the relationship is a good one.
Fantastic.
Do you think Phil's the best co-driver in the world?
Of course. That's why he's in with me.
You have to have good communication. I always say that, you know, in love, sport and work, you have to have communication. If you don't communicate in love, you divorce. In sport, you don't win, and in work, they sack you.
So next time you see a rally driver getting all the plaudits for a win, spare a thought for the unsung hero sat in the seat beside him. Because without him, life for a rally driver would be very different. The Subaru Impreza World Rally Car, 6 world titles and 46 individual rally wins. The blue and yellow of Subaru have become an icon of the sport, and the 2006 version of the car is just as striking. Who better to show us around the latest Impreza than Australian star Chris Atkinson?
Hi, I'm Chris Atkinson from the Subaru World Rally team. Today I'm going to show you through my office the Subaru Impreza World Rally Car 2006. Hope you enjoy the show. Okay, here we go, hopping into the car. It's not as easy as a road car to get into. Obviously we've got the roll cage and then deep bucket seats. A lot of differences obviously between the road car and this car. Two of the biggest ones you can see here, both the handbrake lever and the gear shift, totally different to a normal car. Normally you'd have a gear shift here, but we've actually got a handbrake lever which helps us do handbrake turns in tricky situations, or if we're going too fast to a corner we can quickly pull it and it'll get us out of an understeer or something like that. Also we've got the gear shift here, which is a lot easier than a normal road car. We just pull up, you can do it with one finger if you want, and that will shift up gears and push away to go down gears. You don't have to use a clutch or anything like that. You can stay full throttle and just keep pulling up gears, which is quite good fun. It's easy to drive. As you can see here, this is the steering wheel of the Impreza World Rally car. It's actually made of carbon fibre, so it's lightweight, which is good for the centre of gravity and that, because it's quite up high. Also there's a lot of buttons here. Quite simple to use really. We've just got a washer and wipe and a marker button, which helps the engineers. If we have a problem with the car, we can press that red button and that will put a mark in the data. And the other two are just for our headlights and our launch control, which we use at the start line. Generally during the stage you don't use them much, just the washer, but Glenn's also got them on his side, so he can use them if we have some mud come on the windscreen or something like that. Obviously a lot of controls here that are different to a road car as well. We've got a lot of circuit breakers, which we've got to put all these in. We've got a system when we start the car, and then once we're going on the stage as well. So we put all of them in, and hopefully they all stay in and we have no problems. When we're talking about the start of a stage, firstly we've got a gear selection device here, which is obviously different to a car again. We've got a road mode and a stage mode and reverse, and obviously neutral. So obviously put the clutch in and then select either road or stage depending what we're going to do, and then drive off and use the gears. Another switch which is very important at the start of the stage is the anti-lag switch, and this gives us instant response. So you don't want to run with this when you're driving along slowly, because it builds up an enormous amount of heat in the turbo, but we turn it on at the start of the stage, usually onto 3 the maximum, and go flat out. It gives great response, and you can let the car go really slow and then hit the throttle and you've got full boost, which is amazing to drive.
With stage mode engaged, the rest is down to Atkinson and co-driver Glenn McNeil. And with the launch control activated, the traction and power provide immediate response.
From this angle you can see we're sitting a long way back as well. We're back here with the B pillar, which is nearly halfway in the back seat, and that means the steering wheel and the pedals are all brought this way, and this helps with the centre of gravity. We're sitting low and far back, so the car's nice and balanced, and this all helps with performance. Just some other small features, obviously the safety thing is a big thing. You've got a massive roll cage, huge amounts of tube all throughout the car, and then the seats with these special head devices and 5-point harnesses as well to hold us in tight so we don't move. As you can see, when we're going over big jumps and things like that, it's quite tricky, and you can get thrown around, but this holds us in place well, and it means we can keep focused on the road.
60. 60, keep right on crest, then short left, and 7 right and short left.
Okay, as you can see from this angle, we're sitting quite low in the car again, down low with the steering wheel as well. Another point on the steering wheel is the surface. It's made of a special felt material which matches the gloves, so if we hit a rock or want to throw the car into the corner, we've got good grip. Another special feature of these cars is the felt on the dash here, which helps with the sunlight coming in. There's no glare. On a normal dash you'd get glare into your eyes, but with this felt it nullifies the glare, and then we can see the road and have no problems driving.
6 right, plus open, 40. Late 6 right on crest, leads them up very long, 5 left opens, caution brake crest, 7 right.
As you can see from this angle again, the pedals are a long way back, but generally the setup's the same as a normal road car. You've got your throttle, brake and then clutch. Generally the only two we care about are obviously the throttle and the brake. The brake's a lot bigger than a normal brake pedal, and it's also a lot harder to push. This gives you better feedback and better feel. Generally you use our left foot to brake and our right foot to use the throttle, and don't worry about the clutch. The clutch is just for road sections and just for stopping at traffic lights, otherwise we don't use it. So that's how they work. But I hope you enjoyed the time in my Subaru Impreza World Rally car.
So, proof then, if needed, of just how technologically advanced these machines are. From the outside, they may look similar to a road car, but under the skin, they're anything but. Hard or soft compound, correct tread pattern. The decisions involving tyre choice are a big issue in the WRC. But whatever the type of tyre, the first requirement is that the raw material is up to scratch. You need the best rubber. The life of a high-performance tyre begins years before it gets anywhere near a rally car or service park, in the form of a cut slick or a G-force gravel. So where does the story begin? Well, if it's a BF Goodrich tyre, the answer is the plains of Brazil. The Edouard Michelin plantation near Rondonópolis, 900 kilometers to the west of the country's capital, Brasilia, was established in 1979 and typifies modern rubber production. The plantation covers 8,400 hectares, has a staggering 3.5 million trees, and has an output of 20,000 tons of rubber a year.
This plantation has started in 1979 and we completed it in 1982. It takes 3 years to complete it. We have here about 1,350 persons working here in the plantation. From then 1,000 persons are directly linked to the production and 350 persons worked on general services, general duties. We have schools, health services, we have communication, telecommunication, internet, transport, etc. and so forth.
So with a workforce living on site, the process of cultivating the rubber trees required to make those all-important rally tyres is a labour-intensive programme, which starts with a handful of carefully nurtured seeds.
The seeds appears in end of March, end of February, March, and we plant the seeds in the nursery. And 1 year before the planting of the seeds in the polybag in the nursery, we bud it with a clone, and we transplant it definitely from the nursery to the fields after one and a half year.
Once the fledgling rubber trees leave the nursery, they're transferred to the main plantation. Upon reaching full maturity, the trees are carefully tapped for their precious commodity of latex rubber every 5 days.
It takes about 8 years, 7 to 8 years to make the first cut of the tree to get the latex, and the tree produces for 30 to 35 years. It is the economic life of the tree. After the harvesting of the rubber, as I said, the coagulum of latex, the latex is sent to the factory to be processed. Latex is processed into TSER, which is technically specified rubber. It's a quality of rubber, commercial quality of rubber. We have a factory here with a capacity of 20,000 tons. And the latex is transformed, is processed into commercial rubber.
So after the rubber has been processed and packed up, it's shipped for the next stage of production, where actual tyre construction begins. The BF Goodrich tyres used in the WRC are manufactured at Clermont-Ferrand in France. With a need for high-performance tyres in the WRC, where fractions of a second can mean the difference between winning and losing, tyre production is an exacting process. The latex rubber tapped from the trees in the plantation is treated, mixed with a secret cocktail of some 200 ingredients, and rolled into long, thin sheets. Highly skilled technicians then assemble the tyre by hand, carefully constructing layer after layer of rubber, textile and metal reinforcements, so each tyre can handle the rigours required of it during its WRC service. Once tyre construction has been completed, it's checked in minute detail to ensure that the highest quality has been reached. Tyre failure on event could have disastrous consequences for driver and co-driver. The final stage of production includes branding the tyres and then carefully barcoding each individual tyre so it can be located and identified at any given point in its lifespan. Before being set out at either a WRC test session or rally, the tyres are labelled with the relevant driver's name to ensure each WRC pilot receives exactly the right tread pattern and compound. So, in a world where finishing ahead of the competition is crucial, every stage of tyre production has to be conducted at the highest possible level, going right back to that handful of seeds we saw earlier.
If you want the podium, you have to use the best, the tire. To have the best tire, the quality beginning at the plantation here, with the good tree and the good work, the good rubber to make the best tire to go to the podium.
The Swedish rally is unique as the only true snow event of the season. Here we'll be riding on board with the rally winner Marcus Gronholm in the Ford Focus on stage 9, Likenäs.
Vasen eri helppo. Ja nyppy 5, oikein nopea kiviä sisään toista, nyppy 5, oikein nopea.
Below the